Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Wednesday morning? It is Wednesday, isn't it? I'm definitely not losing it. I'm definitely not. How are you guys all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Temperature checkup, guys, in this room. It's 30.7 degrees currently. It actually hit 31 at one point yesterday, guys, believe it or not. The thermostat has said it did hit 31 at one point in this room. Just for reference. But welcome to Good Morning with myself, Reganelite, and Prime Minister's Questions. But it's not going to be Prime Minister's Questions, chat. It is going to be Deputy Prime Minister's Questions, unfortunately. Yes, David Lammy is taking over for Prime Minister's Questions today. So, of course, we will cover that as well. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all keeping cool. I've got 2 cold bottles plus one that I took out of the freezer as well to keep me cool if need be as well. I've got the fan on as well, and we've got plenty to look at today as well. We're going to be covering specifically world news, but I'm going to touch on obviously the big story that happened yesterday, of course, from Nigel Farage, which we will get into, and I will share my thoughts with you guys. I did think about doing another Nigel Farage video, but I've already done quite a few videos recently. So I kind of don't want to just do Nigel Farage non-stop on the channel if I can help it, because I've already got a video that came out this morning. Some of you guys might have seen it already, but that was before Nigel Farage made his announcement about his announcement, which we will get to in a bit. Good morning, Kevin. Hope you are doing well there. Billy Kershaw, one of our fellow Badgers. Scott Hayes, good morning to you as well. And Weebud, I see there, just said hello as well. Anybody else who may be lurking in the chats, a reminder that tonight, if you guys want to talk about mental health, if you want to talk about your anxiety, want to talk about something that's going on in your life that you need to get off your chest, if you have problems that you want to talk about, join me tonight at 8 o'clock for a mental health live stream. Very serious conversation about very serious stuff, about our emotions, about our problems, our feelings, things that we are all going through. I do it every 3 months, and we got one today at 8 o'clock. So if you want to join me for that, please do. Don't be afraid to talk about anything in the comments. We are very welcome to talk about our issues. We don't want to talk about politics, really. We just want to talk about what we're all going through, because everybody goes through problems, go through negativity, bad, all that kind of stuff. So do join us tonight at 8 o'clock in the chat if you can, for us indeed. A reminder that tomorrow as well, on Thursday evening, will be myself and Wannery Pagan for the Eco Flakes show. Definitely be plenty to talk about there, especially with the El Nino effect as well. I need to get I need to catch up on that as well. So yeah, things you know, if we're complaining about the heat now, it's going to be even worse next year, guys. It's going to be even worse next year. My understanding is that the winter coming up, guys, as well, is going to be not so much cold but more wet. So it will be less snow and more rain, which is actually quite concerning for the planet as a whole, is what I've been informed by some experts for the upcoming winter, guys. So it'll be more wet weather than snow. As for how the temperatures are going to be, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see for that as well. Viper Scott, one of our moderators, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Kirsty, good morning to you. Good to see you there as well. Indy Duck Mail, good morning to you today, but I had plans, you said. Okay, you can still do your plans, Mel. You can still do those plans. I guess those plans got cancelled. Oh, well, did the plans involve sleeping, Mel? Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, you see, your friend is here as well. Your friend is here. Your friend is here. I'm just going to call him Terry because I can't remember what name you gave him. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chat, saying, all hail DPR, all and the Quackers, all hail to them all indeed. They are here. They are here. They are here. They are hot. They are sweaty. They are miserable. Quackers, Pingu, Ollie. They're not happy at all. They're really not happy with the temperatures. They don't like it at all, guys. They did. Quackers asked me to change it to a winter backdrop to make themselves feel cold. And I was just like, well, that doesn't really suit the. I mean, I could do a winter backdrop, but it wouldn't really work. He just said to just want to feel like it's cold. And it's like, not going to do that. Guys, it's supposed to be the good morning show. So I said no to Quackers on that one there. Good morning, Unquiet Badger. Good to see you there as well. Hope you are doing well as well. Right, let's have a look at today's daily quote, guys. What is today's daily quote here for the... Oh, knocked my mic here. For the 8th of July. Hopefully, guys, you will not hear drilling or too much banging outside because next door are still doing work there as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a warning, a heads up ahead of that here. Here is today's daily quote. Here's an unknown one there for the 8th of July. Here it is. And it says, a great relationship is about two things. First, appreciate the similarities. And second, respecting the differences. Indeed. A great relationship is about two things. First is appreciating the similarities. And second is respecting the differences. It is true. We are all different in one way, shape or form. That is for sure. We all have differences. But there are also similarities as well. That is definitely true. That's what makes a relationship very strong, if you respect each other's indifferences in deed. I like tomorrow's one. It's a very simple one as well. Very much looking forward to sharing that one from Mark Twain for tomorrow's 9th of July quote. And we'll share that indeed. So how's the planet looking, guys? How do we think the planet is looking? Let's go have a look at the BBC weather here. Here it is. Here is our big, beautiful planet. I did put on the wind. I wasn't sure here. This is our big, beautiful planet called Earth. Apparently, we all live on it. We do all live on it, guys. Here, I've set it to Wednesday today at 7 o'clock, just for a reference. Let's have a look at some of the temperatures around the world. We've got Anchorage there at 14, Yellowknife 23, Churchill 13, Vancouver 17, Winnipeg 25, and Ottawa 30 there. Just going to do the US before I come to those super chats. Chicago 29, New York 27, Nashville 28, New Orleans at 32, Miami 34, Denver 30, San Diego 22, and San Francisco 16. I've heard reports that temperatures could reach as high as 50 degrees in some parts of the United States next summer. 50. Not 40, chat. 50 next year. Just let that sink in for a second here. When we are already struggling with temperatures in the 35 plus, and some places hit 40, temperatures could reach 50 degrees. Just let that thought marinate in your mind of just how dangerous that kind of temperature is. Kirsty, thank you so much for the 199 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This would be a good time to visit Cool Scotland. You know, I do not look. I want. I know one of my favourite wrestling companies, AEW. They're going to Glasgow in August. But the problem is, me and my partner have already been to Glasgow, and that's the only reason why I'm not going to the show. Because I've done Glasgow. I always want to go somewhere different. I really wish. Yeah, I really wish AEW would do somewhere different in Scotland to give me a reason to go up there. You know, I like when I go somewhere different. You know, indeed. Thankfully, it's only my mid-20s here near the coast of Suffolk now, says Unquiet Badger. That's very good indeed. Mel says right under him it's Craig. Craig. Can I even write on here? C-R-A-I-G. There you go. Like that, yeah? Craig, yeah? Just about. He'll probably fall off anyway, knowing me. Craig. I'll have to make a mental note somewhere. It's Craig, ya Wally! Craig! I'm just going to write a big note saying Craig. And I'll be like, what the hell did I write Craig for? Thank you for the super chat, Mel. Appreciate it. Right, let's carry on, guys. I've got a few clips I want to share with you guys as well. Mexico City 19, San Jose 29, down in South America there, Mantaras 33, Caracas 25, Recife 27, Lima 23, La Paz 13, Rio de Janeiro at 21, Santiago at 16 there, and Stanley there at a very chilly 5 degrees. Well, the good news is, guys, there's still some winter storms down at the bottom of the planet at least. Maybe we should move to Antarctica. Maybe we should move there. Maybe we should move down there. Maybe we should, guys. Where am I going? I'm supposed to be going to Africa, Regan. You're losing it today. Africa. Zoom. Yeah. What are we looking at? Timbuktu, 40 degrees. There normally is there. Dhaka, 29. Marrakesh also at 40 degrees. Tripoli there, 31. Port Sudan there, 33. Khartoum, 37. Addis Ababa, 17. Bangui, 26. Lagos, 27. Kishta, 27. Dar es Salaam's at 23. Cape Town there at the bottom at 13 degrees. Crossing a bit further over, Auckland and Wellington both 9 degrees respectively there. Melbourne and Hobart at 5 and 4. Alice Springs at 10, Brisbane 13, Perth 10, and Darwin there at 23 degrees on Australia. Singapore at 27, Hong Chi Minh City at 26, Bangkok 28, and Yangon at 26. Philippines there at 29. I want to just share what this is, guys. I had a look at this. I actually saw some footage of it on some of the islands out here on the Pacific. This is, if you were to categorize this as a hurricane, this would be a category 8. The winds apparently go as fast as 279 miles per hour. That's how ferocious this storm is. I don't know how some of the islands out on the Pacific are, and I'm surprised that the mainstream media is not covering the fact that this is one of the biggest super typhoons that's ever been created in our lifetimes. It's quite shocking that no one is talking about this. I know there are domestic issues and, you know, Trump, but why we are not mentioning this insane typhoon, I don't know. But it's incredibly scary, guys. Just 279 miles an hour. And you think about some of the small islands out there that people live on. That's incredibly terrifying. Absolutely terrifying indeed. And you just look at this map here. You can just tell just from just how big that is. That's about, you know, a decent. If you think about the size of that, you know, in comparison to the UK. Or actually compare it to Ireland. Think of Ireland, guys. If you look at that. That's terrifying. That's about the same size as Ireland, that typhoon. And that is terrifying. Pagan, good to see you there in the chat. We need to cover this. We need to cover this typhoon, my friend, tomorrow. We need to cover this. And we need to cover Super El Nino as well, my friend. Those are two big stories we definitely need to cover tomorrow on the Eco Flake show. Indeed. Hong Kong 27, Taipei 26, Shanghai 28, Beijing 26, Tokyo and 23. Actually, I might skip UK weather and just go straight to the news just because I'm giving too much time on all this, guys. New Delhi 26, Dhaka 27, Nagpur 26, Chennai 32. Here over in the Middle East, Tehran 33, Baghdad 27, Tel Aviv 27 there as well. Let's go and check our friends in Iceland. They are okay. 12 degrees. 12 degrees is not too bad for Iceland. That's why mums go there. You know the reference. Madrid, a nice toasty 36 degrees with Lisbon at 30 there. Tunis 32. I will come back to those super chats, guys. Don't worry. Parmelo 28, Rome 29, Nice 27, Bern 28. Paris, a nice toasty 33 degrees. Very hot. Not the 40 mark, but still very, very warm indeed. Berlin there, not too bad at 21 with Prague at 22. Vienna 24, Zagreb 24, Tarija 28. Athens, a very warm 28 there. Istanbul at 27. Bucharest 23, Chichester 19, Kiev there at 17, with Warsaw at 17 degrees, Volgograd at 25, Moscow 19, St. Petersburg at 17 degrees, and Oslo there at 22. I'll just quickly share today's weathers here. Brussels 25. This is what we're looking like today here. Not too much change in terms of weathers, as I've covered a few times already, guys. We can see these temperatures. Today's going to be very, very warm in all parts of the UK. London 29, Cardiff 27, Manchester 27, Edinburgh 22, Belfast and Dublin 23. Very warm indeed. If you have sun cream, please apply some. If you have very sensitive skin, if you don't have sensitive skin, you've got nothing to worry about. But please drink plenty of fluids and please cover yourselves. Can I also recommend, especially if you're living in London and you've got at the 32 mark, I can also recommend an option is rather than wear shorts, wear something light to cover your legs completely. That way you avoid getting burnt. I recommend something like that. And even wearing big hats to protect your head as well. I do recommend some of that as well, guys. But those are the temperatures we've got in the UK as well. Let me just, before I come to those super chats, and I'm not sure what Viper Scott is doing there. I'll come to it in a minute. But I just want to get these clips for you guys. I've got a couple of clips I want to share with you guys. While I pulled up these clips, I just want to share something incredibly funny with you guys. Or apparently YouTube sent me an email saying it had took down one of my videos. Apparently, claiming that that I broke terms and conditions. The only problem was the video that they were claiming wasn't actually a video; it was an actual post, chat. Yeah. Apparently a video they're claiming that was actually a post violated terms and conditions, apparently. And here's the funny part out of all of it. Oh god, X is playing up on I'm afraid X seems to be playing up here on the computer. Oh, you're joking. I can't play the videos. I want to play the videos. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, that was hilarious. That was very, very funny there. So I don't know why it was I don't know why it was doing that, but yeah, it's very, very weird. I don't know why YouTube was sending that sending me emails saying we've taken down one of your videos because it broke terms and conditions. It wasn't a video, it was a post, and they didn't even take it down. Make it make sense, chat. Make it make sense. Right, let me come to these super chats. Fireworks time, it says Viper Scott. Indeed, fireworks time. Actually, yes, we have already hit the super chat goal. Unbelievable, guys. Guys, can you believe it? We've already hit today's super chat goal. Unbelievable, chat. Maybe what do you think, chat? Should we do another super chat goal? Should we do another super chat goal so we can do another fireworks display? Is that being greedy? Maybe I could put one up. Maybe I'll see what you guys say. While I'm just gonna wait for see what. Oh, is there no option for me to do another one? There is an option for me to do another one. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that one I'm gonna leave as. That one, guys, I'm going to leave as all colours, so that can... I don't expect us to hit it, but if you want to do it again, we can do it again. Let me just scroll down, guys, because I want to make sure I get to everyone's super chats. Thank you, Scott Hayes, for the £2 super chat. Something for the DPR. Ole DPR for the Ollie and the Quackers. Yes, indeed, for the Democratic Penguins Republic. Thank you so much, Scott Hayes, for the £2 super chat there. Very much appreciate it, indeed. Person impersonator, good morning to you. Says toast has been consumed. I slowly came round to the day. Thanks, Viper, for the super chat. Thank you, person impersonator. I hope you enjoyed your toast. I very much like toast indeed as well. Viper Scott with 1 gifted membership to Pete's Music. We always like jamming to Pete's Music indeed. Thank you so much for that gifted membership. And another gifted membership from Viper Scott, and he's giving it to Alan Binkton. Thank you so much again. Then a 3rd gifted membership to Tracy M02H has also been gifted membership. 3 gifted memberships today by Viper Scott. Very, very generous today. Thank you so much for that there. Appreciate it. Very, very much appreciate it. One Angry Pagan says, I recommend Linton. I'm wearing green Linton myself at the moment, he says there as well. Yes, very, very generous. And fireworks, yes, fireworks, woohoo, yes, everyone loves fireworks. Except animals, of course, which is why, except the animals, I want to make sure we look after animals indeed there. Joined just in time for the fireworks, says Sid. Yes, you did, yes, you did. Right, guys, I managed to get the, it up for you guys. Let me just, So, guys, for those who haven't, those who aren't aware of yesterday's news, let me just, oh my God, are you serious? Can I use this screen? Should I use the screen? Let me use the screen temporarily. So, guys, it is official. Nigel Farage has resigned as the MP for Clacton. A by-election will be officially triggered at the... has been triggered. And basically, Nigel Farage is using the by-election as a means to vindicate himself of any wrongdoing. He's currently under multiple investigations. First, with regards to the £5 million he received from Christopher Harborn, the crypto billionaire. And he's also to his links to Nick Cotterill as well. who is a convicted fraudster. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat as well. Among other investigations that are under him. So the pressure is piling up on him. So what was his get out clause? His get out clause was to trigger a by-election by quitting as an MP, and has also announced in the same breath that he has quitting and standing down as an MP for as a member of Clacton. He has said that he's going to be running as an MP to become the MP for Clacton as well. This is nothing more than a political stunt by Nigel Farage in a desperate attempt to avoid scrutiny. He believes that by running a by-election that he will vindicate himself. Let me make this very clear to everyone in the chat here. I'm just going to come back to myself here. Let me make this very, very clear to everybody with regards to this by-election. No matter what the outcome of this by-election, which is likely not going to happen until September, okay? No matter what happens in this by-election, whether he wins, whether he loses, whatever, right? This does not change anything. It does not make him innocent, or it does not make him even more guilty. The voters do not have a say on whether he is guilty of these alleged crimes or investigations or breaches of rules that he has done. It is not up to the people of Clacton to make that decision for him. It is down to rules that he must follow like every single other MP. And because he doesn't like the rules, he thinks that by going to the voters, he can get away with this. Now, I'm hearing mixed conversations. Some people are saying that that the slate will be wiped clean. I'm hearing some people saying that the investigations will be continued. I'm also hearing that the investigations will be paused because he will be no longer an MP. I can absolutely assure you one thing, is that the mainstream media at the moment have been really on him. The Telegraph and the Times recently, I know, Telegraph of all people, you know, he's been really mad at them. He's been even madder at Sky News, apparently, because he claimed that they harassed his daughter at his home, which they clarified in a statement that they did not approach Nigel Farage's daughter. They claimed to have approached a home. They said it was not Nigel Farage's daughter. He's claiming different. Obviously, it's something he say, she say. We can take words on that as well. But the reality is Nigel Farage is feeling the pressure, and he's desperate to find a way out. And this is one of his ways of doing it, to try and claim that he is vindicated if he wins the by-election. But again, I really have to stress this to everyone. This does not vindicate him. And also, which is really, really important, there will be a lot of people in Clacton who don't follow politics, who don't understand politics, who don't want nothing to do with politics, will have absolutely no idea why a by-election is happening, why Labour, the Conservatives, the Lib Dems and the Greens are not running, and will not have a Scooby-Doo about any of this. That's just a fact. And they will just end up having to pick between Nigel Farage or Count Binface. This is a joke, okay? I really, really mean this. Like, no disrespect to Count Binface, but this whole charade of this by-election is nothing more than a stunt by Nigel Farage, and it's going to cost taxpayers as well, which is even more infuriating. Well, because of the way the system works. Nigel Farage said Reform UK wanted to pay for this by-election. A Labour source said last night that they are not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to do that. As things stand right now, there are 3 candidates. Well, there's going to be 3 parties going to be contesting this. Not 2, guys. 3 at the moment. So it has been confirmed that the Monster Raven Looney Party will be contesting the Clacton by-election, as well as Count Binface. The Greens late last night made the decision. Hannah Spencer on the Newsnight, which we'll come to in a minute, stated the Greens would not be running a candidate. So the odds on Count Binface has dipped down a little bit as well. For his manifesto for Clacton, he's already put up a manifesto, guys. A manifesto that doesn't make sense, even if the hat doesn't. He says he wants to cap the price of croissants to £1, abolish VAR, make water company bosses swim in polluted rivers, build at least one affordable house. He's mentioned this many times as well. Bring back CFAX. This is one of his key pledges there. Restore the price of the 99 flake to 99p, which is one very much many people need right now, considering the heat wave. Force rule breaking cyclists to ride unicycles instead. Not sure how I feel about that one, but if you want to try it, go ahead. Build a space bridge at North Fallington. I'm not sure about the space bridge. That might not be. There might not be many people there. Invite European countries to join the UK. So rather than us joining the EU, we make the EU join us. Is what he suggested in there. Move the hand dryer in the men's toilets to the Crown and Terence Uxbridge. This has been a big issue that he's been talking about for quite a while as well. Cap the price of Wigan kebabs at £2 and hold politicians to and the main one there, holding politicians to account. So those are some of the policies that Count Beanface is promising. He will have some more local policies as things continue to develop their chat as well. I just want to reiterate as well. And thank you, Viper Scott, for the £2 super chat. I'm really looking forward to the debate. I really am looking forward to the debate. The only problem is I do not see Nigel Farage taking Count Beanface seriously. And I think if he was to have a debate with him, I think Count Beanface would take it far more seriously than Nigel Farage. But yeah, I don't think the debate was going to happen in any way, shape, or form. To be fair, most folks in Clacton don't have a clue about anything says Unquiet Badger. Well, the thing is that this is the thing. They don't not understand. A lot of them will just not understand any of this. They will not understand any of this. And everyone is all waiting for the real by-election. So Nigel Farage put out a video on this morning to try and claim that he is... he believes that he is God's given son, that he is the Messiah. He wants people to believe that. You can make what you will of him here.
Britain is broken and the public know it, and we need change.
So why are you quitting and standing again then?
Why should I be judged, today or in history in the future, by Sky News and their ilk?
What do you mean? You're a politician. You're supposed to be judged. That's how it works. When you're a politician, you're meant to be asked questions. When you are a politician representing people, you have to be questioned by the media. That's how it works.
The issue with my daughter was the final straw.
So obviously, Sky News claimed it wasn't your daughter. You're saying it's not. We can argue all we want whether a he say, she say on that one.
Enough is enough. Why should they be the people that decide my fate when, as I repeat, I've done nothing wrong?
Then let the investigation conclude. Then let see out the investigation then. Give them all the information you need. You say you've done nothing wrong. Show them your accounts. Show them everything that you have so that they can speed up the process of the investigation. If you claim to be innocent, if you claim to be nothing wrong, then why are you hiding? Why are you running a by-election? If you claim to be innocent, why are you doing this?
No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
They don't know everything that you're doing. They don't understand why you're running again. You already won them over. Why do you need to run again? Why should the people of Clacton decide this? They don't understand this. Not every single one of them reads a newspaper. Not every single one of them watches GB News. Why should they be the ones to decide? No. It's been alleged you broke the rules and you have to pay the price here for that. It's not up to the people to decide whether you broke the rules or not.
This will be a people versus the establishment by-election.
No, it won't. It's a charade.
The last 2 years, I've really enjoyed the job of being an MP.
By not being there.
The people, the constituency, it's an office that I genuinely adore.
Literally, Politics Joe was down there yesterday and people were saying that they never even see you there, Nigel.
And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started.
People are not going to fall for this, Nigel. You are taking the British public for a bunch of muppets.
And I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton. If I win, you win. Because
if you win, you win. Nothing is. I've asked this question so many times since he won since he won Clacton. I've asked this question so many times, and I've never got a direct answer. What has Nigel Farage done to improve the people's lives in Clacton? I have said this countless times, and no one has ever given me an answer to this. Not one person. Every time I've put this question forward, no one has bothered to give me a direct answer. Not even Reform voters who pass through this channel.
if I lose, they win, and we will never get the type of fundamental change that we need
Vote Green.
to fix broken Britain.
This is a charade. This is just a charade. I cannot stress just how fake this is. I mean, it is fake. All generated AI scenes probably is, but it doesn't say that below. It probably there might be some of it might be real. Some of it may be real. But let's talk to someone who is a very serious chat. Why don't we listen to someone who's a lot more serious, who actually takes the job of running to become an MP a lot more seriously, guys. Let's listen to Count Binface, who was on BBC Breakfast. He was actually on quite a few of the media rounds here. He says, "My job is to demonstrate that British democracy is wonderful and unique in the entire cosmos." Count Binface told BBC Breakfast why he plans to stand against Nigel Farage in the Clacton by-election, triggered by the resignation of a Reform leader who plans to refight.
You know, if I get the 10 nominations, because, hey, look, there's no guarantee I'm standing for the election, as I'm sure you know. I'm game, but I have to get the signatures from 10 local inhabitants. Otherwise, this is a non-starter. And then, of course, I will tailor my manifesto to the local area, as always. But most of my national policies will remain: building at least one affordable house, nationalising Adele, bring back CFAX, and, of course, moving the hand dryer in the gents' toilet in the Crown and Treaty pub Uxbridge to a more sensible position, because, as you know, it's a national issue.
That's got my vote. Has it got your vote, chat? Let me know in the comments right now.
Those policies didn't go down too well, did they, with the good people of Makerfield? I believe you got 95 votes at the recent by-election. So how are you hoping to do any better?
Talk about being a dab squid. Wow, boo! You're ruining it! Ruining this conversation.
What a disgracefully scornful tone.
I know.
How dare you? 95 actual votes? That's a Dolly Parton. 95, just one shy of a reverse 69, which I scored against Boris in an Uxbridge sports hall in 2019. So I'm cock-a-hoop. I'm over your moon. I'm over my moon. I'm doing very well. I came 7th out of 14. I mean, what more do you want?
What do you say to those other parties who have decided not to field candidates in Clacton?
Well, I mean, that's for them, isn't it, mate? That's democracy. They can choose to run away from my beneficence and magnificence. Or maybe they just noticed that Nigel is up to a rather peculiar hissy fit, and they're keeping their powder dry for a second by-election when, of course, the parliamentary committee reports. But interesting, you see, the thing is, that second election, which would cost 380 grand, will only happen if Nigel wins this one. So if you vote Binface, you save the British taxpayer £380,000 without me doing anything.
He's got a good point, chat. I think just by saving that money, yeah, never mind all those great policies there, but you're going to save money by getting behind Count Binface. That's very good, guys. That's a very, very good. That's very, very good indeed. I think that's a good message to send to the people of Clacton there. That's a very good there indeed. Right, so yeah, he was absolutely brilliant indeed. So here, Hannah Spencer confirming the Green Party will not stand a candidate and their reasons behind it.
we're a party that does things differently. Genuinely, we try and we do have internal democracy. We're trying to have healthy debates and discussions, and ultimately we care really deeply about people in Clacton, and our local party have decided as a whole, all of us, that we won't be standing a candidate in the by-election.
You won't be?
We won't be standing a candidate.
Okay.
I just think it's just a stunt, and I think people are really seeing that for what it is, and people are so fed up. In Clacton, I was there just before Christmas talking to people who really put their faith into someone that they thought was going to be different, and who has arguably turned out to be part of the establishment he claims he's not a part of. This is someone who has taken £5 million and not declared it on a form that we're not talking, I don't think, about an error or a mistake, which I think I accept anybody can do that. This is an enormous sum of money that he has not declared on a form and now thinks he can worm his way out of it by pulling this massive stunt. What it does is throws people in that constituency who are already struggling, like so many people in the country, into further turmoil.
Yeah, well said there by Hannah, indeed. And you know, Owen Jones made a plea last night for the Greens to stand after the other parties said they wouldn't stand. Owen Jones made a plea, and my first reaction was, but can the Greens win it? That was the thing that I was going to say, and I just didn't have much faith in the Green Party winning. I hate giving praise to Kemi Badenoch for a number of reasons, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me. But even she sees the writing on the wall in this joke of a by-election, fake election, as she likes to call it here.
The Green Party, Lib Dems, Labour, the Tories, they're not standing against Nigel Farage in Clacton. This is an establishment stitch-up against him, isn't it?
How is it a stitch-up? He's the one who called this fake election. This is a fake by-election. We will be standing candidates, certainly I will be standing a candidate in the real by-election, which will come later after this investigation has concluded. And the reason why I think that there will be a by-election is because he's doing this to stop people finding out what actually happened. Many people were not aware of this fishy £5 million. Many people were not aware of an investigation. I think Nigel Farage is facing intense pressure. He's cracking under the pressure, and this is a hissy fit that he's thrown.
I love that language, hissy fit. It's a very good language from Kemi, even though I absolutely hate her.
It's a bit unfair, that. I mean, he talked about the pressure on his family, people knocking on the doors of where his family live. He's a grandfather and a father. You're a mother. He's reacting like any parent would against media intrusion. He's sick of the people being difficult about his family life, his private affairs, he would say.
Respectfully, if you're a politician, you have to if you go into politics and you have family and friends, they have to be aware that the media could come to knock on their doors. You can't go into politics and not make it clear to friends and family that there may be some incursion by the media to them. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying it's right, but you have to expect that. I'm sorry, but this idea of like people encouraging on Farage again, like Sky News have made it clear that they were looking for Nigel Farage. They were not looking directly for his daughter. They wanted to speak to him about it. That is what they were doing. It's not like the Daily Mail who hack your phone and try to listen to every single thing you're doing here, but there is a line of per se of that is when you get into politics, you don't have as much privacy as you used to. You can't, because you're a public official that representing people, making a change to people's lives. This context is really, really important.
The £5 million gift before he became MP, he said, is a personal gift, a thank you for Brexit or support with security. It's not a political gift.
It was just before he became an...
Sorry, good morning, Ange. I didn't see you there in the chat. Hope you are doing well. And Linda, I just see that at the bottom there. If I missed anyone, see Diddy, I see you there as well. Good morning to you. Anybody else who may be lurking as well. Appreciate everybody coming out.
MP. So you do have to declare that, because that's money that you could have used to fight an election. And I do understand about the pressures on family. Our families feel it the most. Just last night, Jeremy Hunt was talking about when he was health secretary, he had helicopters flying over, journalists camped outside the house. The address that was gone to was the address Nigel Farage himself registered for the 2024 election. And they knocked on his daughter's door.
He says he votes in Clacton, he's registered in Clacton.
Well, but not at that's not where it was in 2024. But But the bottom line is that somebody knocked on her door. I'm sure that would have been frustrating, but it does not justify his ranting at the press, shouting at everybody, threatening people. We have a free press in this country. Even Prince Harry has to deal with the free press. We all have to deal with it. What he should have done was explained why he got £5 million as a gift. He says that he's just like everybody else. He's just the bloke down the pub speaking for the everyday person. He's getting millions of pounds. He's using the politics to make money by all accounts, what we can see. He needs to answer why a convicted criminal is covering his costs, that George Cottrell story. And what he's done is actually highlighted that. This could have been happening in the background behind the scenes of the Standards investigation. Instead, we're going to be talking about all of these things. I want to be talking about defence. We've got, Trump on telly saying that we're not spending enough money on defence. Starmer won't find the money. Defence Secretary resigned. Andy Burnham's gone on holiday. I had a press conference. You were there saying this is how we should do it. Let's stop spending money on welfare for people who can work. Let's lower energy costs. Nigel Farage isn't doing any of that. Why?
Well, he hasn't got defence spokesman, which is correct.
Yeah, how can he be ready for an election?
I hate agreeing with Kemi, but yeah, she's got a bit of a point there, hasn't she? She does have a bit of a point here. Should I play that AI video? No, I'm gonna save that AI video for another time. Right, guys, let's have a look at some other news. I think that's quite enough videos there for you guys. No, I don't need to apologise for being late. I appreciate anybody lurking nonetheless. So I appreciate you coming. So you don't need to apologise for being late. Totally all right. Right, let's have a look at some stories, guys, because there's plenty to. What else is happening in the news? Let's just go to UK politics here. So they've got here, lack of safeguards over prisoners' early release puts abuse victims at risk, Lamy has warned. Exclusive reveals that Victims Commission and Domestic Abuse Commissioner calls for a pause on planned releases. That's very concerning indeed. We know the prison system is in a crisis, and it does need to be. We do need solutions for that as quickly as possible. Reported to the National Crime Agency for £5 million gift. Farage's gift is deeply serious. Yes, so this is also happens. The Labour Party chair says Reform UK leader must cooperate with authorities instead of trying to distract the public with a by-election. Here, so the revelation that £5 million gift to Nigel Farage was reported to the National Crime Agency by bankers concerned that it may have been laundered money that has been described as astonishing and deeply serious. Responding to the Guardian story, Anna Turley, chair of the Labour Party, called on Farage to come clean and cooperate with the NCA. The fresh pressure on the Reform UK comes a day after he attempted to shrug off the pressure of his financial affairs by resigning his seat, and saying as a result in by-election, all the other main parties have said they will boycott the contest. So, yeah, now that it's been reported to the National Crime Agency, yeah, it's not looking good for Farage right now. It really, really is not. What is the Tim's review into PIP and what is likely to conclude? So, campaigners fear reports and disability entitlements will seek to make cuts desperate, despite assurances it would not be its aim. This is once again, like, I really cannot stress this. Like, if there are people who physically or physically and mentally cannot work, and they shouldn't. And I understand the position that people argue is that we want to get people back into work and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that we have to understand is that a vast majority of workers that we had in our economy left. They left because of something that we did called Brexit. We had a lot of European workers who did a lot of work for us, and we haven't been able to shore up that gap, and we still haven't been able to shore up that gap because we don't want to increase the immigration numbers. So what do we do, guys? We end up with a much lower population. We end up with more vacancies, with more people out of job as a direct result, and you expect people to fill vacancies when they haven't even been trained to do some of the jobs that are needed out there. Now, while we have shored up some of the gaps with some non-EU workers, we're nowhere near the levels that we need it to be, because again, everybody is so paranoid about bringing people into the country, into the UK. We just don't have. Look, we just don't have the numbers. Like I've said this before about how, people want more British jobs for British workers and all that kind of stuff, but it all costs money and it costs time. And I've said this, like, unless people are willing to wait 30, 50 years, which they are not, yeah, if you want British jobs for British workers, if you want less reliance on migrants and more reliance on British workers, I'm sorry, but both public and private both the state and private businesses, have to put their hands in their pockets to train people. And I'm talking about over a long period. You've got to put the money forward for people. If you want British jobs for British workers, that's what you got to do, and they've got to be paid well as well. You know, if you want people who are on benefits to be fruit pickers, you've got to pay them a realistic wage. You know, they're not going to do that for pennies. This is a major issue, because people who come across normally do it for less than what a British worker will be prepared to do. But the problem is that they're being mistreated because of the colour of the skin or the nationality or the accent that they have, and so we're finding ourselves short-staffed, and this number will continue to grow because we have this perception about migrants, which is really, really bad. This is not going to fix this situation when it comes to jobs. You might get some people into jobs, but it's not going to fix the issue at all. Disability benefits in England and Wales not fit for purpose. Trim's review is to find. Not a surprise. Excuse me. Almost no progress made on UK regional household income divide in 30 years. A report is finds. Asylum seekers in the UK as part of a one out scheme says it's unfair on those deported. It says there as well. Viper Scott, thank you so much for another £2 super chat. Been very, very kind today. I really appreciate that. I think Farage will do a runner, in my opinion. I personally think that he wants to run. I mean, not run out, get out of politics. And the only reason he can't is because he's been paid £5 million to not to. I think the money from Christopher Harborne has basically said, you will stay in politics and you will represent me. You will do me favours. You will do my bidding. That's why I gave you the money. I generally think that's the main reason. I think Christopher basically said, you must run. You must fight this. And when he crashes and burns, which he eventually will, that's when he will be out. I don't think I think it's completely out of Nigel Farage's hands. I think he's being forced to run because of the money he's been given. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of blackmail allegedly into it as well. That's my thoughts. I don't think it's him. I think it's the money he's been given that has forced him to do this. So yeah, I do think there's a bit of that. UK waters hit with extreme heat waves as global sea temperatures reach record levels. Summer holidays bookings bounce back amid fragile Middle East ceasefire, Jet2 says. Port of Dover faces utter chaos under the EU's entry system, MPs warn. Yep, don't go in the summer. Just don't, guys, just don't. Virgin Media has been fined a record £28 million for stopping customers cancelling contracts. How bloody evil is that? People want to get out of their contracts. No. Want to cancel their contract? No, you can't do that. How dare you tell me that I can't get out of a contract? Absolute vile. Britain's to buy 8 million minifans this year, but almost half will end up in landfills. Yep. I've got this fan here. I just want to share with you guys here. This is a fan. Let me come to the main screen because I want to share this fan with you. So I've got this fan here that I bought off Amazon. I know people don't like Amazon. I don't normally get things off Amazon, but I was recommended this to his friend. So this one has a strap, and this one you can literally do it like this, and then you can cool yourself down. It has 5 settings, and it's a charger one. You charge it up and it lasts a decent while. I actually one time left it on overnight and it was still running when I woke up in the morning. So a fan like that I recommend, especially when and it's very, very good for me when I go to go to wrestling shows. Helps keep me cool. So I recommend something like that. My mum actually went out of her way to get that exact fan. When she saw me with it, she was like, "Where did you get that? How did you get that? I want to know how." Just because it goes round, because that one in particular, because you see a lot of people holding the fan, whereas I wanted it basically around the neck, which is what that one is there. So just in terms of fans, just wanted to share that with you guys. Right, we've got about 12 minutes before Deputy Prime Minister's questions start. So I do want to have a look at some world news as well, because we haven't really looked at too much at world news, guys. So let's just see what else has been going on in the world here. I appreciate everybody coming out And if we do want another fireworks display from the Super Chat Girl video for the second time this live stream, we are 3 Super Chats away from hitting that there if you guys want to help contribute towards that. And again, just a quick reminder, because there's a lot more people here. If you guys want to talk about mental health, talk about depression, talk about your feelings, talk about negative stuff, anything kind of you want to get off your chest tonight. Tonight is a mental health live stream, 8 o'clock here on this channel. Doesn't have to, no politics. We could just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever your problems. If you want to join me at 8 o'clock for that, please do. We only do it once every 3 months, so if you guys want to join me for a mental health live stream, please join me at 8 o'clock. Be very much appreciated. Everyone is welcome for that one. Coming back to the Associated Press here. So it says, Trump says the interim agreement with Iran is over, but talks can continue. Iran hit back with strikes in Bahrain and Kuwait after the US launched strikes on Iran and invoked a licensing authorizing the state of Iran's oil in what she said was retaliation for the Tehran attacks on the ship industry of Hormuz. Yeah, America is really not helping the situation. Oil prices jumped nearly 6%. Yeah, so that's not really good. Yeah, he's really not helping things, is he? He really, really is not. A new AAP NROP poll reveals sharp divide among US Jews over Israel and Gaza. Yeah, that's yeah, there are some American Jews who are seeing what's going on and just saying this does not represent us, what Israel are doing there. And there are some who believe that it's justified, that it is perfectly justifiable. So that divide is growing there. I'm generally curious to see I'd be interested to see what polling would be like between UK Jews, those who live in the UK, in the divide between Israel and Gaza. I'd be generally curious to see what that would be if there is a polling out there for it. The Danish Prime Minister vows to defend Greenland at NATO summit after Trump renews a demand. Trump is once again banging on about Greenland. I mean, again, we have to remind him because he doesn't have much of a memory, but the United States has like 3 military bases already on there, and they already had a compromise. They already had talks and discussions about it already. So yeah, so he's talking about it again. Trump tracks NATO with new strikes on Iran. America steps back from its defense in Europe, which I'm not surprised. Story on the right-hand side, guys. Bing podcast crew were talking about this yesterday as well. Speculation swirls around the hospitalized Mitch McConnell's health as he speaks to GOP leaders. My assumption is that he is either dead or in a vegetative state. As long as, but the truth is, we just don't know, and it's a very frustrating indeed because, you know, he's holding a seat. He's holding a seat that a Democrat could potentially win, and it feels like that it's all being kept hush, 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 just so the Democrats can't challenge for it. And I think there's like a time period. I think it's Thomas Massey who can challenge for it. So. Yeah, I don't know if he's alive or not. They're not telling us anything, basically. There was a report that he had, what was it? There was a report, a leaked memo or something, that he had a stroke. And remember, he's very, very old as well. So I don't know his situation, but he should, you know, his seat should have already been given up. His seat should have long been given up there. Thanks for popping in, Kirsty. Very much appreciate it. Viper Scott, for another 2,000 super chat. Does the DPR support Binface? Yes, the Democratic Penguin Republic is very much supportive of Count Binface indeed. Yes, we very much do there. Sound is on a video, Reganelite. Oh, thank you for telling me that. Yeah, the PMQs feed has started. 1 second, chat. 1 second. Let me just do that. It starts. I have the video on the background, but I forgot to turn off the desktop audio there. So apologies there. Apologies for that. So I've got it muted now. Oh, let me turn that back on. Chinese men in Germany use Telegram groups to share rape videos and drugging tips. Prosecutors has said there. Graham Plattner may be finished, but voters' hungers for change and willingness to take risk will remain. Graham Plattner needs to step down. Time is running out for him to step down. I think they've only got a couple of days before they can actually put in a successor. for Maine. The stakes are really high. He needs to get out of the way. The guy is bollocksed. Like, come on. Like, the case against him is just too great. He needs to get out of the way for other Democrats. Like Mandami calls for him to go. Bernie Sanders rescinded, calling for him to go. Ro Khanna, like, he needs to get out of the way. Like, honestly, like, you can't beat the allegation that's on you, Graham. Just get out of the way, dude. Honestly. Israel strike kills World Cup screening organizer in Gaza just before kickoff. Wow, what an arse, bastards! As if Israel killing people isn't enough. Yeah, let's just kill them watching the World Cup in Gaza as well. Nasty people. Russia attack kills 3 across Ukraine. Strikes Kiev for a second consecutive night. Not a surprise there. Some health workers in Congo's Ebola outbreak go on strike over pay issues as deaths near 600 there. In terms of the World Cup, Egypt sieves after squandering a 2-goal lead, losing to Argentina. Yeah, there were like 20 minutes to go or something, and then they blew a 2-goal lead and lost 3-2 to Argentina. Unbelievable. Switzerland will face Argentina after beating Colombia on penalties there. FIFA suspended 2 US staff members for the Belgium game, apparently. And FIFA investigate an incident between a YouTuber, Ice Show Speed, and a fan, apparently, as well. So yeah, I think that's the quarterfinals now established. I believe so. I believe so. I could be wrong. The Paraguay Senate on racist remarks targeting French captain Kylian Mbappe. Well, I'm not going to go into the details of what she said, but the response from Mbappe was very, very strong indeed. She's an absolutely vile, disgusting woman. This senator, the language that she used about Mbappe, and it's just a vile, disgusting woman is all I will say. I don't really know what more to say there, apart from, you know, I'm glad he said what he needed to say when he shouldn't have had to say it. But, you know, in football, unfortunately, racism is still rife within society and in football, and not enough is being done about it. Nowhere near enough. Trump says the memorandum of understanding to end Iran war is over. Waste of time dealing with Tehran, says Trump. See, Israel got to him. They got to his cabinet. J.D. Vance, who's been trying to make it work, it just didn't. Yeah. So it's all fallen flat on its face. This whole memorandum of understanding is dead and buried officially. FIFA's World Cup Day, France and Morocco. Iran's economy faces a long road to recovery as fragile truce is tested. Funeral states for Iran's slain supreme leader underway in Iraq. How Gaza's children spend a summer without play. Syria grapples with unrest as the government faces an old and new threats. European MPs call for a probe of FIFA's boss Valentino over the red card suspension. Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. It's an interesting story in terms of climate, guys, from Al Jazeera here. 99% of people on Earth will get sunlight the same time at this Wednesday. On July the 8th at about 10 past 11 GMT, about 99% of the world will experience sunlight at the same time. This is what... Wow. That's... yeah, that's going to be... that sunlight. That's quite a... Yeah, apart from Australia and Indonesia there and parts of Japan, but yeah, 99% of the world will experience sunlight at the same time according to that graph. That's quite incredible, chat. That is quite incredible indeed. Very interesting indeed. Let me just have a quick look at the Kiev Independent before we switch over to Deputy Prime Minister's questions. David Lammy is going to be taking it up. I don't know who the opposition is going to be. Hopefully it will be someone a bit more brighter, because the last person who did it was not very good. Russian ballistic missile fire. Oh, let me refresh this actually, chat. Ukraine's long-range sanctions brings war home for Russians as drones strike cripples fuel supply. Ukrainian drones hammer Russia's Sagrov oil refinery, Tarsan petrochemical plant, Zelensky has confirmed. So once again, they're still targeting oil refineries and petrochemicals in different parts of Russia. Russian ballistic missile rocks Kiev, fires a breakout, kills 1 and injures 2. Moscow will fall. Another 9 Russian Shadow Fleet tankers hit in the Aral Sea, Ukraine's Madja said. According to over the past 72 hours, Ukrainian forces hit 21 vessels, including 19 Shadow Fleet tankers, 1 cargo ship, and 1 ferry in Crimea's Kerch. 1.4 million have been lost. Trump claims Zelensky, Putin want to make a deal after speaking to both leaders. Yeah, they do, but it's not the kind of deal that Zelensky's deal is very different to what the kind of deal Putin wants. And you can't trust what Putin says anyway there. Any other stories here? Raid on leading drone company fuels fear on crackdown on Ukraine's defensive tech sector. That's a bit concerning indeed. IOC lifts Russian Olympic Committee suspension ahead of the 2028 Games. And Canada pledges 900 million Canadian dollars to Ukraine for vehicle and ammo, but no air defense is what they have said there. So that's some of the stories that that we have there. And let us go. Let me come out of that. Make sure I set it to live. We'll be starting very shortly. Deputy Prime Minister's questions. David Lammy is currently not seated at the moment. Let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Getting them ready. Bingo cards ready for PMQs. I wonder if someone's going to bring up the question about Nigel Farage. I'm pretty confident of that. Thanks for coming in, Sid. Very much appreciate it. There. Thanks for popping in. Sound on. Yep, I sorted that out earlier there indeed. There. Yeah, do you think Count Binface is going to get mentioned? That's a good question, guys. Will Count Binface be mentioned at PMQs today? That'll be a good question. For sure there. They're probably gonna probably the Conservatives are probably gonna go on about defence. That's probably what they're gonna talk about most likely, but we'll have to wait and see on that. This is definitely live. I'm checking it's live. Yeah, this is live. David Lammy still hasn't sat down yet. When is he going to sit down? I'll show you the feed anyway. Just kind of waiting for waiting for it to get going, guys. Just a quick reminder as well. I'll be live again tonight with mental health live stream at 8 o'clock, guys. Do join me for that if you want to. We'll have another Good Morning show at 11 a.m. Tomorrow as well. And also tomorrow evening, myself and One Angry Pagan with the Eco Flake show. I will also be recording short videos. Just a reminder, short videos will be no longer be happening after this week. I will not be doing short videos on this channel. It will be moved to Reganelite Shorts. Link is in the description for that if you are interested. Please, is it James Cleverly? Is James Cleverly going to be the one doing it? Oh God. YouTube.com/Reganelite Shorts. Link is in the description, guys. This is going to be a second YouTube channel that is going to be coming up. And all my short videos, guys, for those who watch them, they'll be available on that channel. It'll be starting from next week on Monday. I will be doing shorts again as per usual. But Kemi will bring up thousands of prisoners being released. Kemi is not doing it. When it's Deputy Prime Minister's questions, it has to be someone else. So it won't be Kemi doing that there. But it probably will bring up the... they might bring up the prisoners, but yeah, Kemi won't be. Kemi doesn't do Deputy Prime Minister's questions, only with Keir Starmer. Is there another? I wonder if there's going to be another. If there's going to be another. How many more PMQs is there before the summer recess? I'm generally curious now because he hasn't. I think it's next. I think next week might be the last one for Keir Starmer. Might be. I need to double check though. Need to double check for sure.
Order is not being realistic, and it would not be the appropriate action to take. What we are doing, as I indicated in answer to an earlier question, is increasing immigration enforcement activity across the United Kingdom, including in Northern Ireland, as a result of which 1,000 people have been removed in the 2 years since the election, including 500 returned to the Republic of Ireland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Secretary of State join me in commending the officers of the PSNI who've
I don't know what this is about, but they are very late with PMQs. They're not Normally there'll be 1 or 2 minutes here, to be fair. Okay, sorry, going into Sleaze Moses impersonator. She did on LBC, says Suzanne. Ah, okay. I didn't see the LBC one, but we did share a clip earlier of her talking, didn't we? So, indeed. So, yeah, we'll have to see what is going to be said about that. It's worth reminding ourselves that the Conservatives left the prison system in a state as well. They made things a lot worse. They left it to the brink of collapse because of what they did. It's worth reminding ourselves of that.
Leader of the House, we now come to the Deputy Prime Minister's questions, and we start with Paul Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 1, sir.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've been asked to reply on behalf of the Prime Minister who's attending the NATO summit. Working with our allies, we're strengthening Europe's role in the alliance that remains the cornerstone of our national security. Yesterday, the Prime Minister met with the Prime Minister of Norway, and I'm sure this House will join me in wishing good luck to the England team ahead of the World Cup quarter-finals. Mr. Speaker, this week we mark the awful anniversary of 7/7, a day when people travelling through London on a bright summer morning had their lives ended and changed forever, including my best friend, James Adams. We remember all those affected by those terrible attacks, and we will always stand against terrorism.
Yeah.
And Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party also pays tribute to Sir George Howarth. He was a champion for Knowsley, a distinguished colleague, and a wonderful, wonderful gentleman. We'll miss him deeply, and our condolences are with his wife Julie and his family. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Paul Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I entirely associate myself with the Deputy Prime Minister's opening and personal remarks? Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister and the Right Honourable Gentleman from Makerfield are both proud football fans. So given that the Deputy Prime Minister clearly thinks the Prime Minister has always been match fit, how does he feel that his own MPs are given the boss the red card and brought on a left winger to get them out of the relegation zone?
That's not bad for someone who represents the Premier League side. But 2 years since the election, the honourable member still needs to engage with the facts of the Tories' failed period in government. As his colleagues now accept this, the former Treasury Minister, the former Community Secretary, the former Health Minister, the former Immigration Minister, and that's just the member for Newark. He wrecked the country, helped wreck the Tory party, and now wants to do it all over again with reform.
Jeff Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 3 weeks' time, Greater Manchester residents will have the chance to vote for Labour's brilliant candidate, Bev Craig, to be I've worked with Bev for many years, so I know her strong record as a leader and what an outstanding mayor she'll be. Will the Deputy Prime Minister join me in welcoming Bev's pledge to extend free travel on public transport to all 11 to 18-year-olds? So to all our young people in Greater Manchester can have the independence to travel to the work, education and leisure opportunities they deserve.
Well, I agree with my honourable friend. Bev Craig will be a brilliant mayor for Greater Manchester. I'm proud that Labour is putting power over bus services back in the hands of local leaders. This government has extended franchising powers, capped fares, invested to deliver better services, and we're ensuring children can enjoy free bus travel this summer. I'm sure colleagues will want to get behind Bev in Greater Manchester so that we can defeat Reform's divisive candidate and drive the agenda forward under a new mayor.
Vote Green!
Shadow Secretary of State, Sir James Cleverly.
Oh, God. Will he do better, chat?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to echo the Right Honourable Gentleman's tribute to Sir George Howarth and pass on my party's condolences to his friends, family and loved ones. I also wish to echo his support and encouragement to the England football team in their forthcoming match against Norway. And of course, I will echo his words about those people murdered on 7/7, their friends, their families, but also pay tribute to the emergency services that did so much on that day. Will he apologise to the victims of the rapists, sexual predators and paedophiles that he is planning to release early?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to welcome the Shadow Housing Secretary to the dispatch box. He, of course, could have been doing this job every week if he were better with numbers. He was the Foreign Secretary. He was the Foreign Secretary in government that botched Brexit, the Home Secretary in a government that decimated neighbourhood policing, and one of the shortest-serving education secretaries in our history. Now, he asks about a very serious issue, and every decision we have taken has been based on public safety and delivering justice for victims. Let's talk about the context. The last Labour government built 28,000 prison places. We're building 14,000 by 2031. We've already delivered 3,200. Under the Tories, they closed 23 prisons. 23. Gloucester closed. Shrewsbury closed. Portsmouth closed. Holloway closed. Northallerton closed. And what are they now? A block of flats. That's why we have to have an early release scheme. That's why we passed the Sentencing Act. And we're putting community powers locally to make sure that we protect the public.
Sir James Cleverly.
Mr. Speaker, he makes a joke about use of figures. Let me give him a figure. 50,000 prisoners released early in just 2 years on his watch. And I am genuinely shocked. Mr. Speaker, that when given the opportunity to apologise to victims, he very publicly failed to do so. And let me...
Your party created the mess! Your party put them in this situation! You guys did that! You're the ones who are putting people's lives at risk because of what you did! You're the ones who closed the prisons! You're the ones who left it overwhelmed! You guys did that! If anyone should be apologising, it should be you guys! Sorry, like, I look, I really have to be a bit sympathetic to Labour here. They would give, even in the run-up to the general election in 2024, remember we heard the stories about the prison systems being overwhelmed and emergency legislation had to be passed to help accommodate the crisis. That's how bad it was. They had to make emergency legislation in order to keep the criminal justice system running. The whole system would have collapsed if Labour had not made emergency decisions. They had no choice because you guys botched it up. I'm sorry, but I'm not going... Look, I'm not a Labour supporter. You guys know that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that in any way, shape or form that it's Labour's faults that are in this mess here. And it's going to take more than 2 years, I'm sorry, for them to help fix this mess. Okay? It really, really is.
Let me remind him what this is about. Let me quote Fiona Goddard, herself a victim of grooming gangs, who's been brave and open about how his policy will impact her. And she says, "Finding out that they may be released early has completely set me back. I have barely left the house. I feel constantly anxious, frightened, and unsafe. I can barely sleep. This is the impact his policy is having on victims. He refuses to apologise. But why is he pursuing a policy which he must know is both wrong and dangerous?"
Before we hear the answer from David Lammy, let me just put this out there. I absolutely and deeply sympathise with the woman and anyone who has experienced that and with knowledge that they may, because I don't know for sure, be released early, okay, when it comes to these people. I would like nothing more for these kinds of people to be spending the rest of their lives behind bars after what they have done, the untold damage it has done for these people, okay? But my message to them is, what would you have the government do? in this situation. A situation that was not created by them, created by the Conservatives, who gave far fewer spaces. Now, an argument you could make in the chat, is, well, why don't we release people who have less convictions? Let's say people who hold up placards for protesting, why don't we let them out early? Or people with minor offences, why don't we let them out early instead of these people? That could be a conversation that they should be having. They probably are having. But it still doesn't change the fact our prison system is overwhelmed, and it's a direct consequence of the Conservatives and their policies over the last 14 years. And I mean this sincerely, I sympathise with the woman and any others who have been through this, but I honestly, I'm not sure how Labour get out of this hole that the Conservatives have created.
This is a very serious issue, and the Honourable Gentleman is experienced in this House. He knows that while he was Home Secretary, they had an early release scheme that set out 10,000 offenders, 10,000 under his... They had 6 schemes within a year. They had a scheme that they announced on the 6th of June 2023, another scheme on the 17th of October 2023, another scheme on the 8th of March 2024, another in April, another in May, another in June, all before the election, and that's why Rishi Sunak, it's rumoured, called the election in the first place. They left a system with just 83 empty cells. That's what the Justice Secretary previous to me inherited when she came into office. That's why we had to pass a sentencing scheme. He hasn't said what they would do now to fix the system. Of course we think of every victim. And that's why we're notifying victims in discussion with all victims. I sat last week in my surgery with a victim of grooming gangs. All of us want to see offenders locked up. That's why we've got to have prison capacity.
Sir James Cleverly.
Mr. Speaker, he talks about 10,000 early release over 14 years of Conservative government. They have released 50,000 in 2 years.
Again, it doesn't change the fact that there are only 83 cell blocks when they came into government. Just 83. That, we were very close to the prison system in collapsing as a direct consequence of actions by the Conservatives. This context is so important. I know people want to bash the Labour government over this. I know people want to, but I'm sorry, but you can't bash Labour for this crisis that they are in. You really can't.
And he knows it's wrong. He is a good man. He must know that it is wrong to release 5,000 serious criminals, including rapists, including paedophiles. And not only does he know it's wrong, but his party knows it's wrong. 400 Labour MPs and not one voted to support the government's policy in the vote last night. They know it's wrong. The country knows it's wrong, but he insists on pursuing it anyway. So if he will not change course, will he at least make this guarantee that not one rapist or paedophile will be released early later on this year?
He hasn't proposed what they would do if they were in office. They released 10,000 with 4 different schemes. No impact assessment when they released them. No victim contact when they released them. No warning. They did it on the sly. And let us be clear. Yes, we've got more probation officers. They, of course, cut probation, decimated it because of Chris Grayling. We've invested $700 million in probation. We're rolling out the largest programme of tagging in our history. We're forcing offenders to stay boxed in certain areas rather than where victims are. We're creating alcohol, pub, football and driving bans. We're implementing income reduction orders, and we're expanding chemical castration for sex offenders. None of it happened when they were in power.
Those are good things.
Mr. Speaker, he will look back on this exchange, and I think he will be shocked by how this is coming across. No apology to the victims.
Why don't you apologise? Why don't you apologise for what you guys have done?
No guarantee that paedophiles and rapists will not be released early. We all know that releasing dangerous criminals on purpose is the wrong thing. We're not.
Look, he can't make that promise. He just can't. As much as I want him to, as much as you guys in the chat want him to, how can he make that promise? He can't.
Content with doing that, he is hell-bent on releasing dangerous criminals by accident. Last year, in response to the questions of my right honourable friend, the member for South Suffolk, he claimed that under Labour he had got a grip of accidental releases. Yet we now know there have been more accidental releases in the last 2 years than in the entirety of the last Parliament. So I give him another chance. Will he apologise to the country for his abject failure at keeping prisoners in prison where they belong?
I've got to say, this is rich coming from the honourable gentleman. They had 14 long years in power. They wrecked neighbourhood policing. He was Home Secretary. Prisons were at bursting point. That's why they called the general election. And they let out offenders in secret. And that is why we have the Sentencing Act that passed through this House and the House of Lords. What we're doing is we are getting thousands more bobbies on the beat. We're toughening up probation. They've decimated it. And we have to have the space to knock up dangerous criminals. That's why we passed the sentencing bill.
Sir James Cleverly.
Mr. Speaker, it's the dangerous criminals that he is letting out early. So he refuses to apologise to victims, he refuses to guarantee that sexual offenders and rapists will not be released early. Another thing that the country and indeed this House knows instinctively is wrong is his personal crusade to scrap trial by jury. We know that it will not clear the backlog.
I agree.
We know that it undermines fundamental British freedoms, and we know the legal profession is united against it. So will he now admit that it is wrong, and will he commit to reverse his proposals to scrap trial by jury?
This is where I agree with the Conservatives on this one.
Well, let's be clear, Mr. Speaker. There is no proposal before this House to scrap trial by jury. The honourable member needs to do better and get on the detail. There is a threshold change. There is a threshold change. Margaret Thatcher made a change to jury trials. David Cameron made a change to jury trials. The vast majority of criminal cases in this country are dealt with by magistrates, again, which they cut. We're restoring the magistrate, and they can do more. We're investing in our courts. They ran our courts down. We're modernising our courts. We're introducing digital ID, and we need reform.
Sir James.
Now, they didn't say that they were. It's very, the context of, obviously, they're not going to completely scrap trial by jury, but they are going to reduce the amount of usage. That is something that they are doing. As he said, it's the threshold that they're changing, which I don't agree with personally there.
Mr. Speaker, he talks in glowing terms about what he's claiming to do. What we are actually seeing this government doing is stripping money from where it's needed and squandering it on the welfare bill, which is ballooned by £20 billion this year alone. And he talks about getting over the detail. Here's a simple detail for him. When I was Home Secretary, we had more police officers than at any point in British history.
Your party cut police forces and then brought them back up to the same numbers, and then bragged about the fact that you have more police officers than ever before. You guys cut it, and then you accrued the same amount, and you call that a success.
Since taking over, that number has dropped by over 2,000 officers.
Again, I have to remind people, they cut police numbers and then they brought them back up to the original numbers that they cut. and then bragged about recruiting more police officers. Make that make sense.
Speaker, the dispatch box last week, my right honourable friend, the Leader of the Opposition, highlighted this government's failure to defend us internationally. Today, I have outlined his failure to defend us domestically. If the soon-to-be Prime Minister... Is he in the room anywhere? No. If the soon-to-be Prime Minister does not want to be complicit in his failure, he should come out and condemn this plan, not just hint that he opposes it. Because if Labour cannot protect the citizens of this country, either domestically or internationally, then what on earth is the point of them?
Mr. Speaker, he insists on proving that he can't count. We lost 16,000 police officers when they were in power. Mr. Speaker, the British people haven't forgotten what the party opposite did to our country. After 2 years of a Labour government, I'll compare our record every day of the week. Their record is the biggest fall in living standards in recorded history. Our record is the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation. Their record is wrecking our criminal justice system. Our record is bringing down violent crime. Their record is millions of people stuck on NHS waiting lists. Our record is cutting NHS waiting lists, the fastest rate in history. Their record is cutting defence. He was a reservist. They hollowed out the armed forces. Our record is the biggest boost to defence spending since the early 1990s. And their record is plunging hundreds of thousands of children into poverty. Our record is lifting 500,000 of children out of poverty. I'll take our record over theirs any day of the week.
I would too, even though I don't like Labour. And just to remind people, everyone, that they were opposed to the two-child benefit cap, and then they got rid of it later on as well. It's worth reminding chat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Family C official report about the most depraved sexual abuse of children identifies serious failures by Glasgow City Council and other bodies. The report, Mr. Speaker, says one child victim banged on the windows, shouting at a health visitor not to leave. This was treated as streetwise and not a desperate cry for help. Staff described the same child with contempt, saying the child's behaviour was nasty and interfering. The children desperately needed compassion, love and safety, not contempt. Does my right honourable friend agree with me that the Council must accept robust, independent scrutiny of what has happened and independent scrutiny of the implementation of improvements?
Well, Mr. Speaker, this case involves horrific offences against vulnerable children. I know all members of this House will join me in paying tribute to the victims who've shown remarkable bravery in coming forwards. It's evident that these children were dreadfully failed, and Glasgow City Council must urgently act on the recommendations of this review. I know my honourable friend has written to the Scottish Government to request an independent inquiry. The SNP should consider this request with the gravity that it deserves.
Daisy Cooper, Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I associate myself and my party with the Deputy Prime Minister's tribute to Sir George Howarth, his remarks about the 7/7 bombings and all those who live with the consequences of that terrible day, and wish England good luck for Saturday evening. And as the UK braces for its 7th Prime Minister in a decade, can I also thank the Deputy Prime Minister for our exchanges and wish him well in whatever role he may have. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member for Clacton used to say... Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member for Clacton used to say, leave means leave.
Ah, I see.
But it seems his latest stunt is to leave this place just so that he can return as a fully fledged member after not just one referendum on his behaviour, Mr. Speaker, but possibly 2. So will the Deputy Prime Minister join us in urging the Chancellor to delay the Honourable Member for Clacton's resignation until the investigation is complete, so the good people of Clacton have all the facts before they cast their votes? And failing that, will he support our Clacton clause, so that even once the Honourable Member ceases to be an MP, the investigations can continue?
Yes.
Well, everyone can see that the Reform leader is just trying to distract from the fact that he's up to his neck in sleaze.
Yep.
He's got serious questions to answer and he can't run away from them. Labour isn't going to be part of this circus. I hear it's the people versus the establishment, the city trader, Putin admiring professional politician who's pals with crypto billionaires versus Count Binface. There have been unqualified joke candidates in the past. Let's see what the people of Clacton decide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's clear it's a 2-horse race. Mr. Speaker, on a more serious and very sombre note, on a sombre note, Mr. Speaker, on a sombre note, MI5 has defended in court an agent that they knew to be openly misogynistic, obsessed with violence, and who used his position to coercively control his girlfriend Beth and attack her with a machete. To add insult to injury, MI5 also gave false evidence to the court. So will the Deputy Prime Minister use this opportunity to offer Beth a full apology on behalf of the government? And will he use his position to bring back a full Hillsborough bill next week, which covers the security services, so that we can pass the law before the summer recess?
Well, she raises a very serious issue, of course, and I will arrange for Beth to meet with the Security Minister to discuss this in detail. She also raises the Hillsborough Bill, and I'm confident that this will be before the House in the coming days.
Emily Dodd.
That's a very serious thing to bring up. That's incredibly horrifying deal. To go from Count Binface to that is killed the momentum, but yeah, absolutely. My heartfelt condolences to that woman, and what MI6 did there, just absolutely shocking indeed. Viper Scott, thank you for the £2 super chat. Vote Binface for Clacton, indeed. Thank you so much for that, indeed. And thank you for another £2 super chat. It's a clown candidate and Binface for Clacton, indeed. Thank you again for the £2 super chat. Very much appreciate it. Ryan Burke, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Hello to you. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind indeed. Very much appreciate it. With Binface, absolutely. Binface indeed. Rosemary, good to see you there. Sorry if I haven't said hello to everyone in the chat. But guys, I just need to pause PMQs for a moment because we've hit another super chat goal, guys. So when I so we hit. Oh, I've got to do it properly, guys. Got to do it properly. We hit another super chat goal. Thank you guys so much. Another super chat goal hit on this live stream. That's the first time we've ever done two back-to-back super chat goals in one live stream. So thank you to everyone for your support. I very much appreciate it. No, I will not be doing another super chat goal for this. Let's see out the rest of this PMQs, guys. Thank you guys all for being here. I very much appreciate it. Let's carry on here. Thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. Sorry if I haven't been able to see all your messages, but I very much appreciate everyone's support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Deputy Prime Minister and most of us across this House have been victims of AI-generated fake news, aka deepfakes. These mislead the public and they disrupt our democracy. BBC News coverage and coverage from other news channels is also being AI manipulated to tell untruths. Will he, alongside MPs from across this House, support the amendments I've tabled to the Representation of Peoples Act, which would force anything that is AI created to be labelled as such and stop the production of deep fakes of ourselves and colleagues, and stop the UK from these destructive tactics used by foreign states and others who wish to see our democracy made weaker?
Well said.
Well, I'm very grateful to my honourable friend. She's right that our protections must keep pace with evolving threats, including deepfakes. I know she's been in close discussions with ministers on this issue, and we will look at her amendment closely. We're absolutely focused on protecting our democracy against foreign interference.
Well, I hope they do consider it.
Dr. Ellie Chong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our politics needs fixing fast. The broken, outdated first-past-the-post system has clearly failed to deliver stable government. We urgently need to rebuild trust in our democracy and ensure that everybody's vote counts equally. So does the Deputy Prime Minister agree with the Right Honourable Member for Makerfield that proportional representation is an idea whose time has come? And does he agree with me and members across this House that time is now, before the next general election?
There aren't. He does agree with a form of proportional representation, but he's not going to agree to it for this upcoming general election.
Well, I'm very pleased that she raises the issue of votes and democracies. But I've got to say this to the Greens. During the local elections, a Green councillor in Lewisham described me and the Shadow Foreign Secretary as coconuts. Her party looked the other way, kept her candidate in post, and have rewarded that candidate with a council job. I'm not making this up, the cabinet member for healing. The Greens could start a healing process by stopping such racist language.
I'm not aware of this story, but if it is true, this is very, very disturbing indeed. I generally hope the Green Party take action on this, and if this is absolutely true, the Greens have questions to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This week marks the second anniversary of our Labour government, and 2 years on, my Western Bartonshire constituents now enjoy greater rights at work. Thousands of workers are now better off thanks to increases in national minimum wage. Thousands of children lifted out of poverty. Tens of millions of pounds in pride in place funding to communities previously left behind. Shipbuilding on decline secured with the Norwegian naval deal. Billions of pounds investment in Fast Lane. As well as a new
what is your question?
youth hub set to open next month.
I think even the what was it sitting down? It's not me. I think the Deputy Prime Minister could even answer that, but he just wants to answer.
Well, can I commend my honourable friend for the difference that he's made, including his hard work to bring pride of place funding to his constituency. He lists an amazing record in 2 years, and we've got 3 more to go, Mr. Speaker.
James Murdoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Understandably, over the past week, rules and regulations have come under sharp focus. But even more important than the rules and regulation is the law. And on that topic, I believe there are a number of things where everyone in the House can agree and everyone in the House can feel proud. Phrases such as without fear and favour, and symbols such as Lady Justice wearing a blindfold. Now, I'd like to ask the Deputy Prime Minister, however well-meaning actions from the MPCC and the College of Policing with their programmes such as the Race Action Plan may be, we have seen some very high-profile cases where civil unrest has, where faith in police has been shaken by what appears to be two-tier decision-making. So may I ask in good faith what the Deputy Prime Minister can do to reassure people that without fear and favour will always be maintained?
What can I say to the honourable gentleman? Everyone is equal before the law. That is the foundation on which openness, tolerance and generosity of this country is rested. And let's be clear, there is no two-tier justice in this country. And can I say, the honourable member was elected as a reform member of Parliament, and he clearly aspires to become one once more. Given reports that concerns were raised with the National Crime Agency about Nigel Farag's £5 million gift, he should be asking, where did the money really come from?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm deeply grateful for what the Prime Minister has helped us deliver in Cornwall the past couple of years, whether that's free breakfast clubs, urgent capital funding for GP surgeries, or the...
Are you going to ask a proper question, or are you just going to keep sucking up to the PM?
Industrial Growth Fund. However, what's held us back at various points, not beside the chuntering from the other side, I would argue completely unnecessarily, is something to which the answer is patently obvious to all in Cornwall, the question of who should be the masters of Cornwall's strategic destiny. Does he agree with me that the answer to this question must always be Cornwall? And will he make time for the government to lay the statutory instrument required to make Cornwall once and for all a strategic authority, so that when the right honourable member for Makerfield comes in, that we can ensure that good growth in every postcode
Shouldn't be saying that.
and reindustrialisation of Cornwall?
Well, can I thank my honourable friend? He's right to champion the huge potential of Cornwall. We're absolutely committed to devolution and putting power in the hands of local leaders. Conversations with local authorities, including Cornwall, are ongoing, and we will confirm next steps as soon as possible. I know ministers will be happy to update it.
Dr. Ross Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituency of the South Cotswolds is the 9th most sewage polluted constituency in the entire country, with thousands of hours of sewage pouring into the Thames, Avon and Colne. But that metric of hours conceals the truth. It doesn't convey the actual volume, and clearly a trickle is very different from a gush. So will the Deputy Prime Minister arrange for me to meet with the relevant minister to require water companies to report on the volume and concentration of sewage discharges, as well as the number of hours?
Yes.
Well, she's right. We inherited record levels of pollution. We're determined to tackle this and clean our waterways. We've acted by banning unfair bonuses, introducing jail time for law-breaking bosses, unlocking $104 billion of private investment to rebuild vital infrastructure to deliver cleaner waters, and of course we've got the Clean Water Bill. Of course I'll arrange for her to meet with the Minister.
Well, that's good. At least she's got that arranged.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Stourbridge is famous for many things. The glass industry, Jude Bellingham, Robert Plant, and most importantly, the Stourbridge Shuttle, the UK's shortest railway line at just 0.8 miles, or 1.3 kilometres if you prefer metric, and it links Stourbridge Junction with Stourbridge Town. Despite its small size, it achieves an impressive 99.6% reliability compared to the West Midlands average of 64.4%. And one of my highlights as an MP was unveiling a
question
named after local legend George the Stourbridge Station Cat, whose global social media following made him a beloved fixture at the junction. And today marks the start of Shuttle Shorts, a short film festival celebrating the journey. The shuttle shows how community railway can improve local mobility.
For feck's sake, look, I get people want to spend 2 minutes talking, but you need to, you can say a bit and then say a question, but like, there is only so much time you have at PMQs to ask your question.
Does he agree that the pre-metro ambition to introduce a VLR service between Stourbridge and Brierley Hill is a valuable opportunity for GBR, and local businesses should be supported to do this?
First, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make a statement about the future. It is coming home. And can I thank my honourable friend? I'm absolutely echo her sentiments on Jude Bellingham. He's not only making Stourbridge proud, but he's a source of pride for the whole nation. Great British Railways is in the biggest overhaul we're seeing of our railways in a generation. We'll work with all partners, including local authorities and local business, to drive investment, support economic growth and deliver better service for her constituents.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Constituents in the west side of North Shropshire were delighted when RIS3 was announced, because as part of the National Safety Programme, a roundabout at the desperately dangerous Hlunkus Crossroads became a step closer. But with the announcement that the Defence Investment Programme will be funded by cuts to transport programmes, can the Deputy Prime Minister reassure my constituents that the National Safety Programme won't be cut? And can he consider using the Liberal Democrat idea of defence bonds to fund the Defence Investment Plan so that critical security projects like transport are not put at risk through the programme?
We are raising defence spending to keep this country safe in an increasingly volatile world. That does require tough decisions, and the Department of Transport will set out £700 million worth of savings for roads funding, but we will consult on the next road investment strategy and set our decisions in due course. I can reassure the Honourable Lady that safety of passengers would always come first.
Yeah, but you ain't guaranteeing her project is going to go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ruth Ellis was the last woman to be executed in this country. Her case serves as a haunting reminder of a time when our justice system ignored the realities of domestic abuse and coercive control. In the decades since, members of Ruth's family and supporters have campaigned unwaveringly for her to receive a posthumous pardon. Will the Deputy Prime Minister agree with me that their courageous campaign and the terrible lessons of Ruth's case must strengthen the government's resolve to free women from devastating cycles of abuse?
Well, I'm very grateful to my honourable friend. I have the honour to say that His Majesty the King has accepted our advice to grant Ruth Ellis a conditional pardon, the last woman to be hanged in the United Kingdom. While the pardon does not claim she was innocent of killing David Blakely, it replaces the death penalty with a sentence of life imprisonment to recognise a profound injustice in this exceptional case. I know her grandchildren, Laura Enston, Stephen Beard, are in the gallery with us today. We hope this brings a measure of peace to Ruth Ellis' family, who have carried the weight of what happened to her for over 70 years.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Government have said that higher taxes are needed to fund rising welfare spending. In Northern Ireland, my party's Communities Minister is taking action to reduce welfare fraud and error. Previous discussions were held between Treasury and the Department that would have allowed Northern Ireland departments to retain a share of any savings to invest directly in public services, but those proposals were blocked by Sinn Féin. Would the Deputy Prime Minister ensure that the incoming Prime Minister will look at that approach again so that we can tackle benefit fraud, protect taxpayers' money, as well as delivering real benefits for communities across all of Northern Ireland?
Benefit fraud will always be there. There will always be a certain amount of benefit fraud. You can't erase it. You can't get rid of it. It's going to be there one way or another. And I just think it's always an excuse, used as an excuse here to cut welfare. I really, really do.
Well, I know that my honourable friend, the Minister for Northern Ireland, is discussing the budget at this very time, but tackling fraud and error in the welfare system is a priority for this government. That's why we passed the Fraud, Error and Recovery Act, giving the DWP more powers to stop fraud in its tracks, recover money lost and prevent overpayments.
Murphy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday I was proud to host a number of Basingstoke's Nepalese community here in Parliament, including a number of Gurkha veterans. One of the issues we discussed was that of Gurkha pensions, and I pay tribute to the work of my honourable friend for Aldershot, for all of her work on this issue. I've been proud to work alongside her. Does the Deputy Prime Minister agree that it is time to resolve the long-standing issue of Gurkha pensions, recognising the service and sacrifice of Gurkha veterans to our country?
That's a much better way of doing your question. Those MPs who take far too long need to take lessons from that man.
Well, I'm very grateful to my honourable friend. We owe a profound debt of gratitude to the Gurkhas
Mm-hmm.
who have served this country courageously. We're listening to the needs of the community, and we're already improving access to healthcare and community support. Ministers have met with veterans in the government of Nepal for constructive discussions on pensions. Those will continue, and I'd be happy to ensure that my honourable friend is kept updated.
Rebecca Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Coughlin's Bakery, which was founded in 1937, has announced the closure of all of its stores, 5 of which are in my Reigate constituency. The reasons given by Sean Coughlin include recent employer national insurance and business rate hikes. This much-loved family business that has survived a world war and multiple recessions hasn't been able to survive this Labour government. So I asked the Deputy Prime Minister, how many businesses need to go under before this government learns that it can't tax its way to growth?
I want to make this absolutely clear. Businesses like the one she mentioned were really suffering under the cosh for the last 14 years. They suffered in the 2008 financial crash. They suffered during the pandemic. It is not just Labour that these businesses are in. I don't accept the premise that it is just Labour's fault. I agree it is both main parties' failures to do more to protect businesses. While I accept, and I fully accept, that Labour's increase in national insurance contributions to employers has contributed to this without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not going to argue and dispute the decisions that this Labour government has made has contributed to this. But to pin it entirely on Labour is categorically false.
We're backing business with the lowest corporation tax in the G7. We've delivered the small business plan with the largest crackdown on late payments in 25 years. We're bringing down costs of business through 5 major trade deals. We've secured $365 billion in private investments since the election, and unemployment down over 400,000 more people in work than this time last year.
Final question for Session Lumley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last month I had the opportunity to host the South Bank Centre in my constituency, one of the many that I'm proud to have across Vauxhall and Campbell Green, for their 75th anniversary. The House may know that the South Bank Centre was built as part of the Festival of Britain 1951, which successfully saw people come together to share the identity after the ruins of the World War II. 75 years on, Mr. Speaker, sadly the world is a more divided place. Recently we've seen 2 far-right marches, including one going through my constituency, leaving many members feeling afraid. But Mr. Speaker, there is hope, as we see with the World Cup bringing people together, showing the power of culture and sport. So does the Deputy Prime Minister agree with me? Now's the moment to continue to invest in the things that bring us together, just as the government did in 1951.
Well, can I thank my honourable friend for the tireless work that she does in this area. She's absolutely right. We must stand united against those who seek to divide us. Our Social Cohesion Action Plan sets out how we will tackle extremism, bring communities together and restore national pride, and we're providing local communities with up to 1.7 million to insulate them against the threats to social cohesion.
Right, that completes Deputy Prime Minister's.
Okay, took long enough, but we got there, guys. I will have to say there were far too many MPs today who, yes, I know that a lot of I know there's a lot of new MPs from the last general election. I accept that, but my God, please keep your questions, please, please keep your questions a lot shorter. Like, you're dragging it out far too long. We could have had one or two more questions could have been added in if people had done so. It's just my grief, my beef there. Now, as for James Cleverly, I thought he showed just how cleverless he really was by making a fool of himself with the 6 questions. Again, I really do have to stress this with regards to the prison crisis. It is at the fault of the Conservatives. You cannot blame the Labour Party, the Labour government on this one in the last 14 years. If you want to blame the prison crisis of what happened before 2010, you can do that. But in the last 14 years, the crisis that he was in is on the Conservatives. And, you know, Labour are facing an impossible challenge of trying to get it under control. And I really mean this sincerely. I do think Labour are trying their best here with the current situation that they are dealing with. It's not going to be perfect in any way, shape or form. And I generally mean this. I think they are trying their best in this situation, as would any political party in that situation. I think that's really important. I thought Daisy Cooper's question on clack to the Count Binface was very, very much needed laughter indeed. So I'm glad Count Binface got mentioned at PMQs. Obviously, the second question about the MI5 situation is obviously a very serious one indeed. Obviously, the question about a business shutting after more than 80 years or so, is absolutely tragic indeed. I didn't think this was. I thought this, in comparison to the last Deputy Prime Minister's questions, I thought it was a lot better, with the exception of the one or two MPs who took far too long with their comments. I do think, obviously, the Greens do have questions to answer with regards to a councillor who described David Lammy as a coconut. I think that language is completely unacceptable. And if that person is still a councillor, as David Lammy has said, why? And what action are the Green Party taking? I'm sorry, like, there are lines, and this is a line that has been crossed here. I'm sorry, I don't care what that person does. I don't care how good they are. But there is no there shouldn't be anywhere near politics for using language like that. If you think that kind of language is acceptable, you have no place in politics, honestly. So I really, really hope that people in the higher ups of the Green Party are aware of this and are taking action against this, because if not, it's going to be brought up again. And it should be brought up again and scrutinised on the Green Party, because this is unacceptable if it is to be true what David Lammy had said there. So, guys, I want to say thank you, guys, for coming along. Thank you to everyone who sent Super Chats. Very, very kind of you today. We had 2 Super Chat goal videos tonight here. But, guys, we have a very serious live stream tonight at 8 o'clock called the Mental Health Live Stream. We'll be talking about depression, talking about mental health, talk about anxieties, talk about our feelings. If you want to join me for that, feel free to do so. Join the conversation, share your thoughts as well, or for that one there. It's not a political one. I want to talk about very serious discussion about it, and I might even share some stories about mental health experiences that I've had that I haven't probably talked about for a while with some of you as well. I also want to remind people that I'll also be live tomorrow at 11 AM for another Good Morning show, so do consider joining me for that. And tomorrow evening, myself and One Angry Pagan with a very, very important EcoFlake show. The climate crisis is going to get a lot worse. Things are going to get a lot bad, and we are going to discuss that and so much more tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So do join us for that there. I think this EcoFlake show tomorrow is going to be one of the most important ones that we have done. So please do join us for that as well. So enjoy the rest of the day, whatever you guys are doing. Wherever you are, please drink plenty, look after yourselves, don't get sunburned. If you are going out today, please make sure you apply sun cream if you have sensitive skin. Look after yourselves, check on your neighbours and relatives around your neighbourhood as well, because not everybody is going to be looking after themselves. We don't want anybody dying in this heat wave. We want to try and avoid as many preventable deaths as possible. So if you can, please check on your neighbours as well, especially if they're living alone. On your way out, guys, if you can, please for me, hit the like button, share this across social media, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Do consider subscribing to my second YouTube channel, Reganelite Shorts, which is also in the description. And if you want more content, there'll be more content available on Rumble and Patreon for free that you can check out. Links for both of them are in the description of this live stream. So thank you all again so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.